Good evening, good evening, good evening. From the Channel 9 studios, welcome in the Sports Chat with Mr. 33. I am he, Mr. 33. And as most of you know, I usually don't come on a day like this, but a lot of things has been occurring in the world of sports, you know. Uh, but two things in particular has occurred that has really, made me want to come up here and have this conversation. It ain't about highlights or updates. It's just about what sports is being drugged through in totality, and it's it's sad, really. But anyway, so Monday afternoon, we know that there was a situation in New York, uh, as far as the shooting. Realize what's going on? The shooting in New York, where four people lost their lives. Right. Our condolences to these four individuals. Uh, Wesley Lafayette, Officer Darul Islam, Julia Hyman, and Alan Etienne. Right, so these four people lost their lives in a building as a man drove 2,000 miles to come and take out a building, but he didn't even accomplish where he wanted to go. Right, so while Roman Reigns was getting his shoes taken from by Bronson Reed, and they was getting beat up and everything. Commander, what up, nine? We coming to find out that a man was trying to take out the NFL headquarters. I'm not gonna say his name. I don't want his name to resonate as, a martyr or whatever the case may be. But he took out four people and then he turned the gun on himself. Not shooting them, not the normal upside the head. He took out his chest. He took out his chest because he says he has CTE from playing high school football. Reports say that he was he had a mental illness. He's saying himself he has CTE. He got names on his 3-page his note as it is found by the police. Right, but I'm saying this, right. We have to stop blaming the decisions we make on somebody else, right? We got Mr. Slide accordingly here, but his normal thing is always acting accordingly, right? Accountability is something that you're supposed to have, that's supposed to be a part of that situation in your life. So we have to hold ourselves responsible for the decisions that we made. This young man said he had CTE from playing high school football. And I don't know where the family's at. I don't know how much conversations were had between them and him, or him and anybody. But for you to drive 2,000 miles to go into a building to look for the NFL headquarters. Now these other people got hurt. You know what I mean? They got take they not here with us anymore because the man took the wrong elevator. Now the irony is he went to the 33rd floor, but he took the wrong elevator. He's on the other side of the building. These are professional people. He took out a security guard, he took out a police officer, and he took out two officers that work with Blackstone, right? But they say, or he says, his intent was to take out the NFL headquarters because he felt like they wasn't doing anything to help people with mental illness and CTE and those type of things. And I'm saying to myself, my guy, you never even made it to college. You didn't make it to the you didn't even get drafted. You didn't even get They didn't even know your name. But you wanted to take out a whole building because you worried about how they take care of people with CTE and mental illnesses and all that. and it has nothing to do with you. Now these four people, these four families are sitting here with nobody to call a son or a daughter or a dad. Matter of fact, one of the guys was going home to celebrate his son's birthday, his son's seventh birthday. Never even got to see his son because this man took it upon himself. He wanted to punish the league office. Blessings, blessings, Ryder. You can't keep running around here and getting mad because you thought you was going. Well, maybe this is opinionated, and if it is, it's my opinion alone, not Channel 9 Studio, not the 9%, not nobody else but mine, right? But you can't keep getting mad because you thought you was going to be something that you was. You was crashing out on the football field. You was going probably head first in the tackles and being concussed and doing all those things because that's what CTE, that's what happens when you get CTE. You're more than likely being concussed several times and so on and so forth. But we have to stop blaming other people for the decisions that we made. And then you made it to the point, he made it to the point where, like I said, he wants them to examine his mind by taking himself out through his chest. I don't it, Sports is supposed to be about fun and entertainment. Sports is supposed to be, a recreational thing. You know what I mean? Like, okay, we the consumers, we get to pay for a ticket and watch it. We at home, we get to watch it on television and things like that. The players get to, entertain us and get paid for it very well and things like that. But when you go through situations like this, it's hard to understand what the agenda was, right? But you affected a whole bunch of people. Shout out to the New York Yankees because they did do they did honor Officer Islam at Tuesday night's game. Because it just, you know, some people want to say it's senseless, right? Because he didn't get to prove his point, right? But that man lost his life. There's four people with him that lost their lives, not by choice. He made that decision thinking he was doing the right thing. But how could it be right if you didn't accomplish nothing that you were setting out to do in the first place? You picked the wrong build, you picked the wrong elevator, you did all of those things. And now there's people paying for it. And now, you know what I mean? The NFL gotta make a statement, we saddened by this information, even though nobody in the league offices got hurt because he took the wrong elevator. But it's just disheartening as a fan of a sport to hear that somebody wanted to do something so drastic that they wanted to take out an entire building, an entire staff of NFL aficionados, officials. And I, I don't know what you accomplished by that, but we have to understand we all have to stand by our choices. Anybody that has CTE, most of them say they would do it again. They not worried. They took the risk. They knew what the risk was. They not upset about it, right? We got the Dave Lewisons, we got the Junior Seau, we got all of those people that had the CTE and they wasn't in their right frame of mind, right? Yet they told the world that they wouldn't exchange this they wouldn't exchange what they did for themselves. They would do it again if they had the opportunity. They're no longer here. God rest their souls. But those are the decisions that they made. They stood on their decision. We and we cheered them on, and some of us loved them, some of us hate these people because they was on rival teams. We not looking at the consequences of the CTE. Yeah, we seen a couple people get hurt. Yeah, we saw DeMar Hamlin almost lose his life in a football game. We seen all of that, right? Our hearts do stop. But even DeMar Hamlin went back on the field and did what he wanted to do. He went back on it. He said he loved the game so much he gave it a second chance. That's why you can't. It's hard to speak for other people in the world of sports because these individuals will tell you off out of their mouth that they will do it again. So the fact that this young man who didn't get to the NFL or anything like that felt like he had to make a statement for those that are not here and said that they would do it again, it hurts it should make the average fan upset. It made me upset because those people that you are fighting for, the ones that you said they took their lives because they had CTE and all of that, they said they would do it again. They wouldn't change nothing, no decision that they made. They would have done everything the same way. So for you to take that upon yourself, you know, it sounds like I'm talking ill of the dead, but you made that decision. Your family's supposed to have been around you. This is why most of the time we tell everybody, yo, if you know somebody that's going through something, even the strongest ones, you gotta check on them. Because even the strongest one can become weak. And in a weak moment, you can do something very dangerous and drastic into somebody's life. And that's what this young man did. He drove 2,000 miles. He drove. Let me say it again. He drove 2,000 miles from Nevada to New York, walk through the building with the hammer, right? And did what he did, not even knowing if these were the right people or not. Not even he didn't nobody from the place he wanted to go. And now four families is losing. Now four families have lost a family member. I know for sure a son lost their dad on the birthday, on their birthday, on his birthday. That's that's something that kid got to live with forever. Yo, my pops got yo. That sounds crazy, but it's not even a sports situation, but it's a sports situation because that man said it's the NFL's fault about CTE. No, it's about us making the decisions that we make. We want to play sports, we go play sports. If we think we have the potential and work on our potential and become great at it, that's what we choosing to do. It ain't because the NFL called us. The NFL ain't calling nobody because guess what? They got hundreds of people trying to get into that league. Thousands of people trying to get into that league. It's 100,000. It's hundreds of thousands of colleges that people play 3 years for and wait to hear their name. 255 people want to hear their name out of 10,000. That's a choice. We got to stand on the choices that we making. If 10,000 of us is trying to become, an NFL player, and 255 is waiting for our name to be called, and then we got to wait for all of that. That's something that, but we can't go on and make decisions like that, man. We have to understand that sports is not. It, it may seem gladiator type situation, but we can't hang our hats on the decisions of somebody else, and they wanted to live the life that they lived. They chose that life. So once again, my condolences to those four individuals, their families, their loved ones, and we just have to check on our people because, like I said, mental health is not just it's becoming more not random. It's becoming more common than common sense, and that's not a good way for us to look at it, right? And so that's one thing. Now I'm a light I'm a lighten the load. I'm a lighten the mood up a little bit. I don't know if anybody saw my my wallpaper for my profile for this live, but it was a WNBA basketball game between the LA Atlanta and what was it? Dallas. Was it Dallas? Yeah, Dallas. And in the middle of the game, as the ladies were playing basketball, somebody in Atlanta threw out a green ding dong on the court. They had to stop the court. The ladies was so they wasn't distraught. They was shocked. Like who would do something like that? Yo, oh my god! Like I just said, I love sports. I can watch sports all day long. If I could, I would. Right? We know life is life, but at the same time, man, we have to show these people some respect, man. We have to let these people do their jobs, right? If their job is to entertain us, entertain us. You know what I mean? We have to stop getting into our personal feelings about certain things and certain people. It's okay to root against somebody because yeah, it was all I didn't want to show it all because they probably would somebody would have probably struck it. So I'm like, I ain't doing it. But y'all go ahead and look it up. Just say, yo, ding dongs being thrown on the court. They'll show you what happened. In the middle of the game. Girl running, trying to get a jump shot off, and get thrown. They get thrown a little wee wee right at them. Like, yo, what type? I guess that the term defense is really was in effect for that one. You know what I'm saying? But they be tripped like I know Atlanta, I'm down by Atlanta right now at this particular time. And I'm sitting there like, yo, y'all be wilding. Y'all want to stay in the closet and do all these other things, but now y'all want to throw ding dongs because the girls want to play ball. What y'all trying to say? You know what I mean? Let these ladies play ball. They was having a great game. The game actually came down to like a last second shot, and they had to delay the game because there was a green ding dong on the court. It's like what in the like, yo, it's very wild that we take advantage of the. It's not a right; it's a privilege that people are running around trying to entertain us and put the ball in a hoop. And these particular ladies had to go through that's not even an ordeal because I seen Brittany Griner like, yo, they is wild, and she's like 6'9", like, yo, I'm not even going nowhere near. It was a toy, but I'm just saying, ain't nobody trying to go through all that with you people. Let them ladies play ball. Let them entertain them people at the stadium. But the home crowd did this. It wasn't like a person from a rival team this was somebody in a home stadium threw it at a home on a home court. That's it just speaks bad about the city. It speaks bad about the culture of what's going on in Atlanta. If y'all doing things like that to disrupt games because they want to entertain y'all crying about women's right, and then y'all just throw somebody just allow that to occur, or somebody does that so it does occur. It doesn't even make sense, and I just like I said, I just wanted to sit here and have that conversation. Like we have to stop. We are here to be entertained by this. We are here to talk about the results of the sports, not the situation of what's going on because of outside ent- outside entities of the sport, right? Whether it's this one, the one I just previously spoken about, you know what I mean? The Shannon Sharp situation. My 33 brother, what up though? Well, Shannon. For those of you that that that's uh just tuning in, I was just speaking about the WNBA situation with girls getting thrown dildos in the middle of the game. Uh, that's that's crazy to me. It don't even make no sense. It's disrespectful to the women, right? They are there. They are there trying to give somebody a entertainment filled game. Y'all trying to throw the D on it. Y'all wilding. Y'all disrespectful for that. Hopefully that doesn't occur again. But like I said, if you saw the faces of some of them players on the court that last night, you'd be like, "Yo, what in the world is going on? How could y'all even think that was cool?" Right? So it's just a lot of nonsense. But we have to just be spectators. We have to either love the game or not watch the game. Leave the game alone. Right? Like I said, the previous young man, I don't know, he must have loved the game so much that he wanted to take out the people because he crashed out and got CT, thinks he got CTE and wants them to examine his brain because of it. You that's not even love. That's an obsession, right? So we have to understand we as the spectators of the sports, whether it's wrestling, whether it's football, basketball. We have to just know what it is. It's entertainment purposes. It allows you to get 2, 3 hours away from the real world, right? The world of hustling and bustling. You working 9 to 5. You working in the office. You working in the field. You working field as in professional work as far as the offices and things like that. Uh, things like like I said, you working them jobs. Then you go to a stadium. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to hear about that. Nobody wants to turn they TV on to hear that a man drove 2,000 miles and wanted to fight the whole NFL headquarters. That's absurd. That's sad. But that's just some of the people. We ain't trying to focus on the minority because we ain't gonna make it a majority. But it just goes to show you the way that people thinking, whether it's about sports, whether it's about their life, whatever it is, it's intertwining in worlds that it shouldn't even be involved in. You're supposed to be enjoying the recreation of sports, not allowing it to tear you down to where you go to the extremes, right? So those two situations, that's just one was, like I said, one was lighthearted, the other was tragic. But we have to figure out ways to not go ahead and let that deter us or interfere in our everyday lives, right? Because, like I said, if you thought that you was going to get something done by doing all of that and then taking yourself out, I don't know what you accomplished, young man. I would say, somebody got mercy on his soul, but I don't know. You did something, let's just say, not in your right frame of mind. Also, what happened today was that we found out that ESPN has let Shannon Sharp go because of the situation with the young lady. When he settled that court case, the undisclosed millions of dollars. Uh, you know, I don't, I don't. They say it's not tricking if you got it. He done tricked himself out of a bag. You're not gonna, I get it. You a hot commodity right now. To be honest, I just feel bad for Stephen A. And I'm explain why. Right? We know there's so many people that say that Stephen A. is a sellout. Stephen A. ain't helping the people. He ain't doing this, that, and third. The one thing they should not be saying is that he did not go out there and help Shannon Sharp. Gave Shannon Sharp a job. He did podcasts. They did the tour. They did each other's podcasts. Like I said, and Shannon had a segment and everything on the show. He was there. He's supposed to have been talking about the Lakers and basketball, and there's so many clips. They even got a what is it? Last take segment on social media with him, Big Perk, and Stephen A. Now that thing is going to be taken down because of a decision he made. Whether it was right, wrong, or different, that doesn't matter. It's not about what's right for us, right? It's about what's right for your boss. It's about right for your business. It's about right about your brand. Now you want to stain your brand. Now you got okay. You got Club Shay Shay. You still got Nightcap. You still got those things, right? But it's just the fact that somebody took a chance on you and then now they looking crazy. Now speaking of chances, I just found out that Gilbert Arenas was arrested on a gambling situation. For those of you that don't know what's going on with Gilbert Arenas, Gilbert Arenas was just starting to get on his first take with Stephen A. And he was on Nightcap with Shannon. Y'all, we have to understand they are a commodity for everybody. They are a commodity for the culture. They are a commodity for you know people in sports. But these big names right now. Shannon Sharp is a big name because of the Cat Williams situation, and then the nightcap. Ocho Cinco. He's bringing more people on. He's letting people like Joe Johnson come in. He's letting the other TJ Houshmandzadeh and people like that come on the show. But if you can't keep taking these negative hits and think everybody's going to continue to support, right? The I'm sorry's is not going to cut it. The please forgive me is not going to cut it, because if you telling us to forgive you, but you're going to continue to do the same thing, then they got a comment of him saying to the I almost said the Lakers. The LA Sparks young lady Cameron Brink, they ain't paying you in the WNBA, but I know somebody that will pay you. Like, what are you doing? Y'all, like, you can't say nothing like that. You just got out of a situation. You just got out of a whole situation, and now you trying to go back into a situation. I don't care about if the women are white. Like, I don't care about none of that. Your images keep taking hit. You gotta know how to hold your hand and stop showing your hand. You already been in a situation about sexual assault. Well, even before this one. This is what I'm saying. You got to stop that. Gilbert Arenas, you've been in trouble with the law already. You bringing guns to the stadium, just in case somebody wild out on you. Teammates wilding out. Now you getting caught federally. You know what I'm saying? Is mad crazy, because y'all have to, like, y'all have to understand, y'all are responsible for people that you don't even know. You didn't ask for it. I get it. You didn't ask to be a role model. You didn't ask to be in the limelight. Maybe you did, but who knows? But guess what? You're there now. And now you're making people look bad. And like I said, for somebody like Stephen A. giving people they shots, and then y'all turn around and just make it look crazy, right? We know if it's about sports is one thing. If y'all going back and forth about sports is one thing. Like Stephen A. was going back and forth with LeBron about sports, and then how his son, whatever. But it was supposed to have been about sports. Some people say Stephen A. took it personal and took a shot at LeBron's son. I get all of that. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, y'all doing things that ain't got nothing to do with the world of sports, right? You bring a personal situation to this thing. It was Gilbert Arenas. He was gambling on sports, but I don't even know how you did it illegally. Just FanDuel, whatever you want to call them gambling spots. Go ahead and get down with the gambling spot. Get down with them people. Do a fantasy football league. Gamble over that. You know what I mean? Do something that ain't gonna get you riled up. Now you're gonna miss days. Now you're gonna be ducking your podcast. Now you're gonna be ducking and ducking and ducking. I don't even know if Shannon's on tonight. You know what I mean? He probably said what he said. I ain't speaking about it no more. No, that means you ain't reading no comments in your chat, nothing. Because there's gonna be plenty of people that's gonna be having that conversation. Like, Shannon, what are you gonna do now? We used to seeing you. Football season coming. Now we ain't gonna see you, right? We want to hear, Lakers in 5, right? We want to hear all of that stuff. We want to hear that LeBron James. We want to hear you and Stephen A. go at it. It was cool, right? Two black men on TV and having that conversation about the world of sports. You keep living like you can't, like, now we worrying about if you gonna go to the studio and go look at a girl differently. Or if it's Gilbert Arenas, you want to see, you gonna bet $10 to see if you can go hit shorty or whatever the stupid stuff that y'all doing. Y'all need to stop. Y'all have a cult. Y'all are part of a culture. Y'all revitalize the culture. Y'all made it seem like we can do things that we can forget what happened yesterday. Now y'all got to start all over and go through the whole situation. You know what I mean? So it's just a bunch of nonsense that's going on in the world of sports. And like I said, the situation Monday, that's my fault, and I apologize. I was like, I heard my 33 brother shout me out, like, but I'm sitting there just trying to gather the information. Like, why would somebody just go to New York and just do that? And then come to find out, He's mad because the NFL is not taking care of the CTE players, and he has nothing to do with the NFL. You riding hard for, listen, there's nothing wrong with being a fan of a sport, but that's not a fan. That's an obsession. That's to the extreme, and it's like, come on, man, you can't keep doing that with your life and then expect somebody to understand that. Now at the end of the day, his family got to agree that, well, my son did this and this, and but now your son is not, you know what I mean? Now you got to grieve your son. But you should have been checking on him if y'all felt like he had mental health issues. If he's telling y'all he got CTE, y'all supposed to have been watching him, because y'all know. I'm pretty sure once he told you CTE and one of y'all didn't know it, he explained it, and one of the y'all young ones pulled it up. He was only 27, but I'm saying somebody pulled that up, and that's why I'm saying we as people, we gotta start. We starting to make strides, right? We trying to make things comfortable. Well, this is personal right now, as far as we at the Channel 9 studio, the 9%, and everywhere else that comes and rock with me and I rock with them. We trying to make it comfortable for people to have conversations, not to be exploited, not to be over talked, but that just something going on with them. Y'all sit down and have a conversation on the sports chat. Y'all want to talk about sports? We could talk about sports. We could talk about how, like I said, we could talk about how Bronson Reed stole Roman Reigns Jordans the other night, and we gonna joke about it like, yo, what this big old dude stealing sneakers and stuff, like, what the like, what is wrong with this dude? He's stealing sneakers and probably humming. Roman was over there trying to spare you. He got spared. He got spared out of. He ain't get spared out of his Jordans. I'm just saying, you took the Jordans off the man's feet, right? We can joke about things like that. We could talk about what the next PLE is coming up, right? The SummerSlam 2 night event. We could talk about that. We could talk about preseason starting in 2 days, and seeing what our teams is doing as they start cutting people within the next few days. We can talk about all of these things, but nobody wants to sit here and talk about the situations that are at hand. You know what I mean? How did I do that? I'm not even reading the hold on. I'm gonna get back to you. But yeah, like, it's so much going on, man. Like, sports is to entertain us, man. And that's what, like I said, I would love, like, this is one of the rare times I'm not talking about the sport in totality. Like, I'm sitting here watching, the WNBA tonight, but I'm sitting here trying to get myself together to have this conversation, a rematch of the WNBA finals. You know what I mean? Trades are going on in Major League Baseball. I just want to have this conversation because it's like, yo, every time we try to take a step forward as far as the world of sports and entertainment and things like that, we get something crazy that goes on. Whether it's a sexual scandal, whether it's a gambling scandal, whether it's a situation in New York, whether it's somebody throwing out, well, that's a sexual scandal too, but in a larger format, in a public arena, like, wait, what? This is what y'all paying your top dollars for, to go throw dingaling onto a WNBA court. You need to just stay away from them. Don't watch them. You hate them that much, don't watch them. Yeah, like, right. Y'all know I come from an era where people was wilding over 8 ball. Damn, I'm telling my age. Right? People wilding over 8 ball jackets and things like that. He just took it back, said, I'm taking your Jordan. Then going up the aisle, the man told the kid, I'll take your shoes. Lucky it ain't my size. I'm paraphrasing, but he told the kid, I'll take your shoes too. He walk around with some white Jordans untying his shoe. That's something we should be talking about. We should not be having to have this conversation about what's going on in the stands, and why the fans are acting this way, and why these type of things are happening. It's just you stop the fun of us watching the sport, right? Instead of us getting ready for the preseason, we worrying about these people. We worrying about the NFL studio, the headquarters. Instead of us getting, watching the WNBA get ready for the playoffs, positioning wise and all of that as they get heading towards the playoff, we gotta talk about a green alien dingling. Like what? Like come on, we better than that. Nobody expects us to, but nobody's paying their hard earned dollars to do all of this. We want to turn our TV on. We want to hear, what's going on with the sport, not people losing their job because of their personal preferences. This is the things that it's just sad that we have to deal with, but we as people have to understand that as in real life, it affects us in the world of sports too. People are going through things, even in the world of sports. So we have to understand, man, not everybody's gonna have their right frame of mind, but there has to be some people that sees this, that they should be alert enough to say, you know what, something ain't right with this individual. Something ain't right with that person that threw that thing on the WNBA court. Shannon, is there something wrong with you, man? You just keep it hush hush. If you're gonna buy it, just buy it. You paid a lot for something that you can't even get no more. You know what I mean? Like it's just a lot of Gilbert, you over there gambling, and now they trying to give you a federal charge for it. Y'all have to understand, like y'all putting the wrinkles in the sport. Y'all saying basketball is boring, but you sitting there gambling on it. Now we ain't even talking about basketball. We ain't talking about what they getting ready to do in the next couple of months. We talking about you gambling sports. Shannon, this is the time where we supposed to be like, okay, we trying to talk about Shador Sanders. We talking about you losing your job because you did X, Y, and Z. I don't want this for this. I don't want this for the culture. I don't want this for you guys. But y'all doing this. There's nothing we can do about it. How we supposed to support y'all when you're not holding yourselves responsible for your actions? What you gonna say? I did it. Let's not talk about it no more. Now we gotta talk about it because there's people looking up to you, whether you understand it or not. People are striving where you once were, or where you still are at times. Uh-huh. I don't know what y'all talking about in the chat. But yeah, like I said, I just wanted to hit that conversation real quick because, like I said, it threw me off for a loop. I was like I said, I was in the Monday Night Raw the other night, and I'm hearing this, and then I'm like, yo, my guy said, yo, I'm just checking up on you. I had to check up on the city myself. You know what I mean? So it was a lot going on, but you know, this me having this conversation, this is not what the channel's about. Even though it is about sports, we gonna try our best not to have these type of conversations. Hopefully, there's no more situations to where these type of conversations have to occur. But we know we can't let one bad week ruin the rest of the 51 weeks in the year that good sports is occurring. So we gotta do our best to do that. But well, let me check this chat because y'all in here chatting, and I don't know what the hell's going on. I greeted everybody that's here. All right, man, y'all sure ain't fall out none of these short bad jokes, bad good jokes. Knowing his fat feet. Oh, you talk about Bronson Reed? Yeah, man. I'm saying he took those J's for what? How you gonna take the J's and do what with it? Oh, that they do. Shout out to my 33 brother, my co-host. He gonna talk about the queso case on the word 9% channel tonight. We get ready to go over there in a few minutes. The hear the conversation over there, you know. But yeah, I just like I said, I just wanted to have that. I just wanted to get that off my chest. And it's for me, it's just awkward to have that type of conversation. But I had to have it here because it was about sports, right? I couldn't let the alter ego have that conversation over there. It just fitted here because it's about sports. And we, like I said, we are here to be entertained. We ain't here to distort it. We ain't here to do nothing. We supposed to just sit back, enjoy the sports, and not hear nothing else about it, right? Unless we get some money out of it or something like that. But we ain't getting nothing out of it. So, you know, let us just sit back and watch them ladies play basketball. Let's go ahead and watch the NFL rev up. The Hall of Fame game is coming up in tomorrow, I believe, or Friday, but I think it's tomorrow. Um, like I said, we hitting strides towards the NFL. Hopefully, this young man didn't ruin the whole show. I'm pretty sure they're gonna talk about it during the Hall of Fame game and things like that. But hopefully, it's not the main topic, right? We got other good things going on. We got good teams that's building themselves up together, right? They're getting themselves ready for the season. Will the Eagles repeat? We don't know. My 33 brother co-host, he said we may be doing something as far as fantasy draft. We working in the midst of that, right? So we trying to do things to where we can stay focused on the sports, the players that are presently playing and active and doing the things that we love to watch instead of talking about all of this negative sideshow. It's nonsense. I hope these guys, I hope these guys get themselves together. I hope, Gilbert Arenas is cleared of any charges. But the fact that, he's in the midst of the conversation, it alters what we're looking for now. It alters to where, we ain't trying to hear you now until your situation's over. Shannon's situation's over. Now we just gotta hope he stays out of the mix. But like I said, he just said something to the LA Sparks woman. So if that's his cup of tea, you better be careful how you drinking it. And don't publicize it. Go in your house and drink the tea. Don't record it. Don't do none of that stuff. Just go ahead and drink your tea and go about your business. Stop putting the world in your business. The business is us watching sports. That's the business that we supposed to be watching. The world of sports. So, I like I said, I don't know. I it's just different. But I definitely appreciate everybody stopping by tonight on this hump day of a sports chat with Mr. 33. Uh, you know, my guy get ready to go on in about 20 minutes. Y'all go ahead and get ready to hear the queso case. We're gonna let him rock out. We're gonna rock out with him. But until next time, y'all, from the Channel 9 studio, this is Mr. 33 signing off.